Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you. This is an important message for the Divine Feminine to hear today. Please remember, not everything Spirit shares in this message may resonate with all of you receiving this message today. So only take in what resonates and release the rest to the universe. The Divine Masculine is paralyzed with fear that you have given up on them. They know how much they have hurt you. Through their harsh words, by pulling away, by running, and perhaps even ghosting you, driven by their pride, ego, stubbornness, and selfishness. They resisted the lessons and inner work needed to heal their past trauma, taking far too long to face their truth, to feel remorse, and to seek your forgiveness. Now, they stand in awe of you, terrified that their awakening has come too late, that their apologies and efforts are too little to mend the bond they so carelessly wounded. Now let's dive deeper and explore their past mistakes, their delayed awakening, their fear of rejection, and the hope that still flickers within them for your divine twin flame connection. The Divine Masculine is feeling very, very guilty, and they feel so very ashamed of themselves right now. They have replayed the words they said to you, wishing they never said them and wishing they could take them back. They have asked themselves time and time again why they said that and why they did that. Yes, all of it. And they are taking responsibility for what they did and what they said. But they have always known all along that they didn't mean those words they said that were meant to cause you so much pain. They knew that their absence would hurt your heart and that the silence between you would more than likely feel like abandonment to you. When they did what they did and said what they said, they weren't thinking clearly. Now, this is not to excuse them at all, but their truth is. They didn't know why they acted like this, what was triggered to set them off that made them behave so horribly to you. You didn't deserve it. They know that too, and that is why they feel so foolish and are so ashamed of themselves. The Divine Masculine still feels the unbreakable thread that ties them to you, but fear that after all that has happened, you are able to break that tie, and they really couldn't blame you if you did. The Divine Masculine's actions have left scars, and they know this now with a clarity that haunts them. Our first card, the King of Pentacles reverse, speaks of stability turned into rigidity, a man who clung to control and pride at the expense of love. They said hurtful things, words that cut like knives, perhaps dismissing your dreams as unrealistic during a vulnerable moment, or lashing out in anger, like accusing you of demanding too much when you were only getting the bare minimum from the Divine Masculine. And they pulled away, retreating into themselves. Maybe during a time right before an important event that you had planned, like a vacation, meeting each other's families, moving in together, and you found him distant or picking fights, offering excuses instead of commitment. The Divine Masculine ran, driven by fear, perhaps ghosting you entirely, ignoring your messages, leaving you in silence after a fight, making no attempt to talk things out and reach a resolution, or disappearing for weeks, like after a heated argument that left you feeling completely discarded. They may have picked fights with you for no reason, hitting the buttons they knew would get a reaction out of you, so they could turn the tables in an attempt to share the blame for the issues between the two of you, or to blame them on you entirely. These actions came from a place of pride and ego, and the Five of Swords reveals their inner battle, a need to win, to protect their image, even if it meant hurting you. They were stubborn, refusing to admit that they were wrong, like brushing off your tears with a curt, "Oh, you're just overreacting," or "You are being too emotional," or insisting that they didn't need to change. Their selfishness showed in moments they prioritized their own needs and desires, maybe choosing work over your birthday without making it up to you, or always being in charge of when you would spend time together, or expecting you to be there for them, but never showing up when you needed them. They resisted the universe's lessons, ignoring the call to heal their past trauma. wounds of rejection, abandonment, or inadequacy that made them fear the depth of their love for you. For example, a childhood memory of being dismissed or ignored by a parent might have fueled their fear of failing you, pushing them to run further than risk vulnerability. Your pain was real, and they know that they are the one that caused it, and they hate themselves for it. Their actions were their shadows, not your truth. The divine masculine's resistance has caused their delayed awakening. The divine masculine's journey has been a long, winding road marked by resistance and delay. And the Four of Swords talks about retreat, a refusal to face the inner work needed to grow. They resisted learning their lessons, pushing away the universe's signs they were being sent. Dreams where you appeared, synchronicities like your name on the name tag of a clerk at the store they just went to, or driving along when suddenly they saw your car or a car that looks just like yours. But they were stubborn, clinging to old patterns, perhaps believing they could outrun their pain and their mistakes by burying themselves in work, taking on a demanding project to avoid their emotions, perhaps, helping a friend, or numbing themselves with bad habits, like drinking, perhaps, to escape their thoughts and the pain that resides in their heart and soul. Healing their past trauma was a battle they avoided even prior to meeting you, Divine Feminine. And the Eight of Cups reveals their fear of addressing these old wounds, of facing the pain of a broken childhood, a past betrayal, or a fear of never being enough. They might have told themselves, "I'm fine, I can handle it," while their soul ached, refusing to think therapy could help them, and shied away from spiritual practices that could have freed them. This resistance delayed their awakening, keeping them stuck in low-level cycles of pride and ego, taking far too long to see the damage they caused. For example, they might have spent months chasing superficial success, a new car, a flashy job title, new clothes, or a trip, only to feel emptier, realizing it meant nothing without you. But the universe is relentless. And the universe is breaking through. The Nine of Wands speaks of perseverance, a warrior battered but rising. They are finally doing the work, perhaps seeking a counselor to unpack their trauma, meditating to quiet their ego, and forcing themselves to be honest about their mistakes. They are owning these mistakes, and they are sorry, with a remorse that shakes their core. They really want to apologize, to say something along the lines of, "I was wrong, I hurt you, and I'll spend the rest of my life making it right." But they're afraid, terrified that you have moved on, that their awakening is too late. Their delay was part of their lesson, and they learned this lesson the hard way, and they are paying dearly for it. This painful experience has led them to the realization that when they screw up, they have to make up for it. They have to own it, and they have to do it quickly as well. The divine masculine's heart is heavy with fear that you've given up on him, that their efforts are too little and too late. The Three of Cups reveals this connection, this joy, a longing for the warmth you bring, dying to give you a hug and hold you in their arms, and all of that is now shadowed by their doubt. The divine masculine fears rejection, worried that you've built a life without them, that your heart has closed to the love that you once offered. They imagine reaching out, a text, a call, a letter confessing their truth, only to be met with silence, or worse, a polite refusal that confirms that they have lost you. For example, they might hesitate to send a message, recalling the fact that they ghosted you, thinking, "Well, how could you forgive me after that?" The divine masculine's mind keeps playing the worst-case scenarios over and over again, and it freaks them out and depresses them. Their over-analysis of the situation between the two of you has kept them stuck, constantly thinking, planning, but doing nothing, because they want to come up with the best way to break the ice, instead of just taking the plunge and jumping in with both feet and taking that leap of faith, which is what they should be doing. This fear is rooted in the awareness of their wrongs. The harsh words like calling you too needy or some other insult in a moment of frustration, the running, the disappearing without a word after a disagreement, and ignoring your calls during a time you needed support. They know they should have come forward and come clean and apologized a long time ago, and that their procrastination and pride kept them from you. And now they are scared that you have found peace without them. Perhaps thriving in a new career, having fun surrounded by friends, and being admired by members of the opposite sex who are interested in you. They are afraid their apologies, sincere but belated, won't be enough to heal the wounds they have left on your heart and on your soul. Their fear has forced them to see your worth, how much you mean to them, and what they stand to lose if you do not give them another chance. And now, looking at you, Divine Feminine, the Two of Cups shows up and reveals love, unity, the twin flame bond that remains unbroken despite the Divine Masculine actions. You've healed, haven't you? You know your worth, even if you face moments of doubt, wondering if they'd ever return, if the love and connection you shared was even real, or if it was one-sided. You pushed through the pain and have done the heavy lifting, but remember, the Divine Masculine sphere is not your burden to carry. You are not obligated to forgive or reconnect, but to choose what aligns with your soul. Now, when the Divine Masculine reaches out, their apologies should be backed by action. And that is things like consistent effort, showing up for honest conversations, making quality time a priority, dealing with the issues and people that may have caused problems between the two of you, and proving their growth. And the Ace of Wands talks of your future. A new beginning, a flame of passion and purpose. Whether with them or on your own, the choice is yours to make. This card promises a path of joy where your heart is honored and your twin flame bond serves its divine purpose, simply loving each other with authenticity. As for the potential for healing and reunion between you and the Divine Masculine, the future of your twin flame journey holds hope, but it rests on choice and effort. The Seven of Swords offers a caution, a deception, the need for honesty to rebuild trust. The Divine Masculine must show up fully, no half measures, no running and hiding again, proving his remorse through actions, full transparency between the two of you, like attending therapy if that is what you feel is necessary to prove to you that they are putting in the effort and ready to create positive change. You, Divine Feminine, must trust your intuition, setting boundaries to ensure your heart is safe. Now, if you both choose healing, the Ten of Cups talks about emotional fulfillment, a love that is meant to be and meant to last. Building a life together, sharing quiet mornings over coffee, or planning a dream trip you have talked about for a long time. This future is not guaranteed. It requires work, forgiveness, and time, but you two can have it all, a love that transforms you both and shines for others. Trust your worth, choose your peace, and step forward with courage. This is your message for today, Divine Feminine. Thank you all so very much for listening and allowing us to share your journey. If you enjoyed this message, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all of you so very much. Blessings of peace, love, and light to all of you watching today. Have a blessed day, everyone.